Yes, Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Mornings on your Thursday morning. It's not the end of the week, but you can see it from here. That's for sure. How you doing? I'm Dave, Double Pop, here back with you again for your New Mercy Morning on your Thursday to get you through the morning with a few laughs, few scriptures, few stories, whatever we got for you. We throw it out all in one big pan and mix it up and pray it comes out good together. So, hang in with us all morning. We'll have scripture. We'll have a little fun piece here and there, and you never know what's going to show up. So, be a part of it all right up to noontime today on Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning. Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning on your Thursday morning. Yes, sir. It is 10 minutes to the hour. And if you're from these parts now and then, you show up here, you know what 10 minutes to the hour is all about. Yes, sirree. Scripture time. Why? Well, Jesus, of course, right? Hello? Okay, it's a good one. Romans 12, verse 4 through 5, as if there could be a bad one, okay? But this is a good one. Just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we are who are many form one body, and each member belongs to the others. Yeah, we are one body, one church in Christ with all different types of members that do different things, that serve different functions for Him. And we all have different skills, different talents. Each of us has a different thing we do. What I do may not be what you do, and what you do may not be what I do. And that's the way the Lord designed it, right? And it's very simple. And each of us, in our own way, makes the church of Christ go. That's how we get through, and that's how we grow, and that's how we get other members, and that's how we do works for Him, and we show the world what He's all about. And you get up some days and you wish you were, maybe a different member, okay? Say you were the thumb, okay? We're talking about body. I say, the thumb, I want to be the nose today. Okay, Lord, I'm sick of being the thumb. He'll say to you, but I made you to be the thumb. Okay, so that's what you're going to be. You're going to be the thumb. Stuff like that. I'll tell you about the thumb one day. Anyway, so yeah, we each and every one of us has a function that and you can discuss, with the Lord about your function and how do I do it? Each one of us got qualified for something that in our own head we may not feel qualified for. I can certainly remember going back to the beginning of my job, okay, way back now, 30, 35 or whatever years, and I didn't think for 1 minute that what I would be doing was for me. But, the guy, Rick, who I've talked about before, said, no, I think you're going to be just the right person, okay? And, obviously, sometimes there's things you don't see about yourself that others see in you. Okay? Parenthood. For example, I've said it before, I had no interest in parenthood. Okay? And I was like, that was never going to be my thing. I don't have any interest in this whatsoever. I'm not going to be the right person for that kind of thing. And then it happened, okay? I've told the story about how I met Emmy and, and became a dad, adopted her and all that. And I said years later on to my best friend, who is a girl, And I said, I never thought for a million years that this was anything I ever wanted for myself. I said, I didn't see this in me at all. And it's funny. She goes, well, we all did. I go, you did? She goes, oh, 100%. She says, everybody saw that you would be a really good dad. And obviously then the Lord qualified me to do so. Or maybe I already was qualified for it, and I just didn't know it. Who knows? But we serve all these different functions, and makes up what we all are in the body and blood of Jesus Christ, and His church, and His overall ministry. And today, pray over your function, and I'll pray over your function, and pray over mine, okay? Because each one of us has something important to do. And it's necessary to the process. We're all wheels in that car, in that machine, or cogs in that machine, and we have to make it happen, right? This is, doing the work of the Lord today, and we're going to get out there and we're going to make the machine roll, aren't we? Amen. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, Thursday. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, on your Thursday, 20 minutes to the hour. Gang, I got ripped up by a bunch of bees again yesterday. I think I got maybe 12 stings. My legs are on fire. I'm telling you. It's better today, but last night, oh my Lord. I was begging the Lord for relief, I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. But got through the night. Sort of slept. We'll see how today goes. Anyway, so kind of working off the devotional today. This was kind of fun. Maybe you'll see some joy in this. Who knows? You never know what's going to hit people at what time, right? And that's what kind of this is about, really. You don't know what will resonate with who and what and whatever. Now, it was an important thing to me. It was an important thing to me that when I was a kid, I wanted to be in media my whole life, okay? Loved television and radio and all that. And I loved the weird part of television and radio. I loved the weird back workings of stations and whatever. I was entertained by that. And, they talk about, and a lot of people don't know this, and especially if you're younger, you may not know this, okay? Your television station did not run 24 hours a day. It used to sign off every night, okay? They had sign-offs at a certain hour. When they were through with programming that they could sell commercials for, the station went off the air for a few hours until it could be profitable again in the morning. Bet you didn't know that. I know some of the older folk know that for sure. Now, the process of signing off a television station, there was a process, okay, how it all ended. Most stations had, you had to go through a process of doing this. Now, here's the crazy thing, is the other night, I watched a video on this. Excuse me. But I didn't really have to watch the video on it. I was a fan. Please don't judge, as they say. I was a fan of television sign-offs. I was a big fan of signing off, watching the sign-off process. Now, as the video said, it said on it, you would never watch this on purpose unless you maybe fell asleep and woke up to it. And then I looked at it and I says, no, I watched it on purpose. I used to stay up to watch stations sign off, and I used to get up early to watch them sign on sometimes. It was entertaining to me, and it was the stupidest thing, but I enjoyed it. There was a whole thing. What they used to do was they would, first they would go through this thing where they told you, who the station was, who owned them, okay, where their transmitter was, what the number of the transmitter was, and and where it's located and all this other stuff. And then and then they would go to you oftentimes to a priest or local minister who would give a little 4-minute sermon to end the day, and then they would, I don't know, show a couple of maybe weird segments like that lasted maybe a minute, and then they play the national anthem. And the night would be over, and it would go to a test, what was called the test pattern, which was a thing on the screen that just looked like either a bunch of colors, or there was an Indian, or there was a lot of different. Look up test patterns on the internet. There's literally thousands of test patterns. I used to sign my Facebook off at night and put a test pattern up and say, "All right, gang, I'm done for the night. Here's the test pattern." There are literally thousands of test patterns. You can go look. Just Google test pattern, and you'll get a bunch. Anyway, so that was how the and the reason a lot of it, first of all, the transmitter. There used to be a guy who sat in the tower under your transmitter in a little booth, and he sat there until it was time to sign off, and then he shut the transmitter off and he went home. And he was by himself out there, and if you knew where he was a great target for some late night crime, I'm sure. And then the station, they had one person in the station working at that hour, okay, and they were able to send them home, or if they kept them up and they did a maintenance job at night or something like that. Now, here's the thing. When it ended, it was like in the late 70s, early 80s, okay, is when it all ended. The reason it ended was because there was a deregulation that went on that made it possible for television shows to sell the station their show overnight. And they could just put the show in, and the guy could run whatever ones they had. They probably were given 4 or 5 different of these, and most of them had to do with you being able to call a phone number and buy something. The station made money, the people made money. The guy working at the booth, working inside the station, everybody made out good. And there was the birth of what was called the infomercial. And that was how that came to be. And so that was how infomercials became popular, because then it made it so that your TV station did not have to sign off overnight. It could run all night long, right up until the time when they could sign, they didn't have to sign on anymore. They could just do profitable TV with commercials again. Now, I just gave you more information on the sign-off process and sign-on process of a TV station that you'll ever need or ever really care about. Okay? You have more information than you know what to do with about that now. You are an absolute brilliant genius that you could tell people, but you may not even care about it. It doesn't hit you. It doesn't matter to you. And you know what? Right now, that's like a lot of times reading the Bible. You read something, it doesn't seem to speak to you. That's okay. Each and everything in the Bible isn't meant to speak to you at that particular moment. It may be for somebody else right now. You'll find your moments. Each one of them will come about in its own way. The Lord will manifest it to you exactly when He wants it to. It's not up to you. It'll just show up, and you'll read it, and you say, what does this mean to me? Maybe it'll mean something to you later. But everything, maybe what I just told you will mean something to you later. Maybe it will have value at some point in your life. Who knows? In 2 Peter 3:16, he writes the same way in all his letters, speaking in them all these matters. His letters contain some things that are hard to understand. The Bible isn't easy to understand for everybody, okay? Each thing may not be the thing that's necessary for you to understand because it didn't talk to you. And the thing that is easy to understand for you maybe is what is meant for you. You don't know. But we keep reading the Bible because those words and those moments will show up when they're ready to show up. The Lord won't let you down when it comes to that. He'll put the right information in front of you. And even if that information doesn't seem important right now, maybe it will be later. So, if you didn't get bored to pieces by the last 9 minutes, there may have been something in that for you. You just may not know it yet. Who knows? Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, Thursday. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, 20 minutes past the hour on your Thursday. It is that time. Minor holidays and observances day for August 27th, indeed. Yeah, let's dive in. These are a little off, but okay. It's first of all, just because day. A day to do something nice, silly, spontaneous, those are nice. That's a nice thing just because you want to do it without any special reason, right? Be spontaneous with people. You know what? Do something nice for somebody, okay? And do it in the name of the Lord. People will be like, oh yeah, that came from the believer guy, okay, or lady. Oh wow, let me find out more about that Jesus, right? Never know. World Rock, Paper, Scissors Day celebrates the classic hand game used around the world to settle minor disputes or play for fun. Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. It's now online, by the way. You don't have to use your hands anymore. You can just go. There's apps for it and everything. Let's take all the joy out of everybody's childhood and turn it into an app. Why don't we? Right? National Banana Lovers Day, a day for celebrating bananas with your favorite recipe, snacks, or smoothies. Absolutely, bananas are awesome. Been putting them in my yogurt that I'm making, my homemade yogurt, and strawberry banana been one of my favorites. Yeah, you gotta have your bananas and your potassium every day. It's good stuff. Bananas rock. You have any other banana recipes people want to share? Facebook group page is a good place for that. Underused. Here's one. The Duchess Who Wasn't Day. I don't know why we gotta have a day for this, but okay. Honors and remembers women writers who published their works anonymously. Okay. So, in case there's ever but how would we know? I don't know. I don't know how we would know. Okay, I'm not going to do the yell or nothing because, I'm trying to hold on what's left of my voice here. It's Tarzan Day. Yeah, celebrates the Tarzan Jungle series. Yeah, Johnny Weissmuller was the first Tarzan I remember, the swimmer guy. Tarzan was interesting. Never quite understood the movies, but they had them. People watched them, whatever. And an important one, National Petroleum Day, recognizing the history and impact of the petroleum industry. Yeah, petroleum is a huge part of our lives. Okay, we need petroleum for so many things, not just cars and whatever. Petroleum has so much value that we use it in things that you wouldn't even think we use it for. Okay, your plastic products and everything. Okay, all have petroleum. There's petroleum all around you, and so we need to celebrate the people who work in the industry, who work hard. They're the oil drillers, okay, people who, or people behind the scenes. They're essential. They're essential workers in our lives, the petroleum people. So if you know one, wish them. For me, I don't know anybody exactly in the industry, but if you know anybody, wish them for me a happy Petroleum Day, and maybe wish it for yourself too. To them. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, Thursday, 25 after almost. Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, 20 minutes past the hour on your Thursday. It is that time. Minor holidays and observances day for August 27th, indeed. Yeah, let's dive in. These are a little off, but okay. It's first of all, just because day. A day to do something nice, silly, spontaneous, those are nice. That's a nice thing just because you want to do it without any special reason, right? Be spontaneous with people. You know what? Do something nice for somebody, okay? And do it in the name of the Lord. People will be like, oh yeah, that came from the believer guy, okay, or lady. Oh wow, let me find out more about that Jesus, right? Never know. World Rock, Paper, Scissors Day celebrates the classic hand game used around the world to settle minor disputes or play for fun. Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. It's now online, by the way. You don't have to use your hands anymore. You can just go. There's apps for it and everything. Let's take all the joy out of everybody's childhood and turn it into an app. Why don't we? Right? National Banana Lovers Day, a day for celebrating bananas with your favorite recipe, snacks, or smoothies. Absolutely, bananas are awesome. Been putting them in my yogurt that I'm making, my homemade yogurt, and strawberry banana been one of my favorites. Yeah, you gotta have your bananas and your potassium every day. It's good stuff. Bananas rock. You have any other banana recipes people want to share? Facebook group page is a good place for that. Underused. Here's one. The Duchess Who Wasn't Day. I don't know why we have a day for this, but okay. Honors and remembers women writers who published their works anonymously. Okay. So, in case there's ever but how would we know? I don't know. I don't know how we would know. Okay, I'm not going to do the yell or nothing because, I'm trying to hold on what's left of my voice here. It's Tarzan Day. Yeah, celebrates the Tarzan Jungle series. Yeah, Johnny Weissmuller was the first Tarzan I remember, the swimmer guy. Tarzan was interesting. Never quite understood the movies, but they had them. People watched them, whatever. And an important one, National Petroleum Day, recognizing the history and impact of the petroleum industry. Yeah, petroleum is a huge part of our lives. Okay, we need petroleum for so many things, not just cars and whatever. Petroleum has so much value that we use it in things that you wouldn't even think we use it for. Okay, your plastic products and everything. Okay, all have petroleum. There's petroleum all around you, and so we need to celebrate the people who work in the industry, who work hard. They're the oil drillers, okay, people who, or people behind the scenes. They're essential. They're essential workers in our lives, the petroleum people. So if you know one, wish them. For me, I don't know anybody exactly in the industry, but if you know anybody, wish them for me a happy Petroleum Day, and maybe wish it for yourself too. To them. Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, Thursday, 25 after almost. Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Mornings, on your Thursday, 15 minutes after the hour. Here's if you're a kitty fan like me, you're gonna love this. Okay, I had a kitty named Charlie too. Charlie the cat vanished from her home. Okay, Charlie was a her. Okay, I guess we're pronouncing here. And the owner got a call 10 years later out of nowhere that Charlie had been found. Charlie was chipped and they did a scan and they found that Charlie was indeed Charlie, and they called the owner. And here was the thing, that the kitty disappeared on when the owner was 20 years old, and the day of Charlie's return was the owner's 30th birthday. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know how old Charlie was when she disappeared. It's a little hanky. But, well, it could be Charlene, right? Come on, let's cut some slack. And yeah, maybe that's what happened, okay? And who knows, but here, what a wonderful story. I have had kitties go missing, that's rare, but, then, a lot of times they never come back or whatever. They got one of our favorites, we found out got stolen years later. Yeah, that was heartbreaking. But one time, and speaking of birthdays and kitties returning, we had a kitty who disappeared. It was only for a year. And all of a sudden, we had moved. Not far, but we had moved. And on my wife's birthday, which was, I believe, her 33rd birthday, around there, the kitty showed up at the door. We let her in. She was so excited. She was rubbing up against everybody, just like she had seen everybody, just the other day. Everything was wonderful and whatnot. We put a birthday hat on her. She kept the hat on the whole time, walked around, palled around with the other cats. The other cats recognized her and hung out, and everything was like old home week. Sat on my wife's lap while my wife ate cake. We thought that the kitty was back for good. Everything was all exciting. She had it was a great visit with the kitty. And then next thing you know, the night ended. The kitty goes to the door. And we took the hat off of her, and she wants to go outside. Our kitties were outdoor cats. Figured she would, go to the bathroom, come back or whatever. She went outside again. We never saw the kitty again. Bizarre, right? But that's, the secret world of cats. Okay. Sometimes you got to have that camera on them and see all the crazy things, where they go, how it all ended up for them. I would love to know the ending story of a few kitties that were in my life for sure. And it would be cool to have cameras on the secret world of cats. And I know they do have that, but I don't know. Some of them just don't come back, but it was good that Charlie came home, and it was interesting. It'd be interesting to see if the relationship just resumed right where it was. Who knows? But good story. Double Pop Worship Zone. Kitties. New Mercy Morning. Double Pop Worship Zone. New Mercy Morning. 15 minutes after the hour on your Thursday. Getting towards the end here, gang. Here it is, August 27th, and there's pumpkin stuff everywhere, right? Everything pumpkin is already out. It's still hot. And there's pumpkin things everywhere. I mean, come on. How fast are we to rush here? And then there's a whole bunch of crazy women that go down and they buy all that. So we're in the store the other day, and there was already one version of pumpkin creamer out. And I just said, and my wife was like, "Oh, you want pumpkin creamer for your coffee?" I'm like, "It's August." And she's like, "Well, you like pumpkin creamer." I go, "I know, but it's August." Right? I like fall in its place, not in the middle of my summer, But anyway, she said, why don't you just grab it? Okay, just get it. And I'm like, all right. So we go over, and it was zero sugar pumpkin creamer. I had never had this product. I was like, zero sugar. I've heard this before. I'm like, what level of disgusting is zero sugar? Okay. It was cheap. It was only like $2.49 or something, which should have told me everything I needed to know. And we got it and took it home, and I opened it up the next morning, and I put it in the coffee, and I was like, does anybody want? I was already calling our son. Do you want this pumpkin creamer, zero sugar? It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, God. I mean, I guess for a diabetic or whatever, if you really are that, hard up for pumpkin, that you got to have this there, and you buy that, I'm like, no way, okay? I'm waiting. So, like, we were back in the store this week. I'm looking to see if any of the real pumpkin things are. And I said to my wife, I go, yeah, there's a reason why they put that junk out first. I says, it's because they want them. I says they want to attract the loonies that want to buy pumpkin stuff, in August. I'm like, this is why it's there. And at $2.49 a clip, no less. Because it's horrible. And so I couldn't, I just, I went back to all these French vanilla, and everything was, my world was back to normal. But there's, all the store stuff out. Okay, we're going to, we go to Cooperstown at the end of August. We do start buying the candy now because we stock up on a huge amount of candy for then, because we take a big bag and we pass it out and everything. So to start collecting the candy, we do start ahead of time. But you go in the stores and it's all this Halloween wrapped whatever, and it's like, do they really think people are going to buy this and they're going to store it? Most of them are going to store it. I mean, even we're eating it. Okay, there's stuff in the house. We got enough for about 200 people that we're going to see there, and we're going to pass out candy. But we're picking at it. But we got enough, okay? I mean, some of these people, they get one bag of candy and they're in the store and they go, well, you know what? I'll save this for Halloween. No, you won't. That's going to be gone by the end of the day. And so I just, and then the decorations out and whatever, and my wife is like, if you really want anything Halloween for the house, you got to get it now. And I'm like, I can't even be that inspired by Halloween right about now to buy it now. Okay, there's nothing, Thanksgiving, Christmas, none of this. It's August. You can't inspire me to love the end of year holidays right now. It's just not that. Come on, slow down time, folks. Okay, we are so rich and ready to get to that next holiday. The time just speeds up. Didn't you learn anything in COVID? Remember we talked about this last week? It was like we wanted time to speed up so we could get on the other side of COVID. And then before you know it, you came to the realization, you know what? We're really good at throwing time away. Right? Don't throw your time. Enjoy your moment. Enjoy your today. Enjoy your August 27th. Tomorrow's 828 Day. Romans 828 Day tomorrow. Enjoy that. Take that for all it's worth. Start talking about Halloween. People talk about, oh, you're a Christian, you really shouldn't be into Halloween. Halloween's a freaking fun costume party. You're not celebrating anything evil. You're not celebrating. It's a bunch of kids dressed up in a bunch of costumes, okay, walking around looking for a piece of candy. It's got nothing to do with anything evil. Day after it's over, they forgot all about it. They're not celebrating some ritual. They're eating freaking Snickers. Get over yourselves. Stop look as Reverend Price used to tell me. Used to tell people all the time. Stop looking under every trash can cover for the devil. That's why it hit my song, "Away, Away, Satan." You know, Halloween's it's a joke, is what it is. It's a big joke. It's fun. It's a good time. It isn't cursing Jesus out. Jesus would have loved Halloween. He would have come up with some better costumes than other people would have too. And he would have liked the candy as well. Come on now. Anyway, but stop pushing for time to end so quickly. Get off of it, you know? Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Mornings. Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, coming to the end of the morning. This is it. It's over. Okay, 5 minutes from now, the news will be on. Don't miss that. Afternoon, New Mercy Morning group page. We'll have the audio section of the day, and everything will be wonderful. If you missed anything this morning, and catch you right up, and you'll be right back. You'll be made whole again. How about that? Tonight we will have at 8 o'clock. Also, again, you can hear the encore at 8 o'clock tonight if you so choose. And Night Flight tonight at 10:30. No other encores, okay? But I told you we do have new programming coming up. The Sunday hour is going to be on this Sunday at the 10 o'clock hour. Steven's slated for his 979 again, and Jonathan Evans will be on 11 and 5. Popcast at noon. All your all the new Sunday favorites are going to be ready to go. So in the meantime, I pray that Jesus leaves the light on for you, and I wish you nothing at all but peace.